Alrighty, I'm going to try out the voiceover function on my computer here. I never tried this, so I kind of want to see if I can just explain a little bit here while I'm watching myself work. It became pretty evident as soon as I started working this hide that it just wasn't going to work good for a hair-on tan, this specific hide. It was roadkill deer. There were spots on it that were completely bald from when it kind of road rash. But throughout the rest of this series, you'll just see me with a different hide, but all the steps remain the same. After I flesh and get all the meat and fat off and the membrane, I would probably go and wash the hide, especially deer with the ticks and all the different critters. And I'm going to specifically make a hunting vest, so I kind of want it clean. And what you're seeing me use here is just a combination of household items that most people have, and it works excellent for cleaning fur. I've cleaned a lot of fur with it, and I'm really happy with how it works. It was shared to me by a gentleman who used to trap a lot of fur, and he seemed to indicate that this would even work decent on skunk smell, although I've never tried that. What you're seeing here is just dish detergent, hydrogen peroxide, and baking soda. And like I said, most people have that, and it's an excellent way to clean your fur. So it cuts down on that musky smell sometimes associated with them, and cuts through the grease if there's excess grease in the hide. And it just gives them a soft feel. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to throw some warm water in there. I'm going to scrub it up. I'm going to scrub it up good too. I probably spent a good 20 minutes just combing my fingers through, really working through that fur. I wanted it nice and clean. I wanted the stuff to do its magic. And I let it sit in the bin there probably for a good half an hour while I went and played with the dead deer. So that would give that hide a good chance to really get a little cleaner. Especially this one. This had stomach residue and stuff on it. This hide in particular had some green spots on it where the stomach contents kind of were spilled over on the fur and kind of was turning the hide green. So I cut that section out, and it had a really sour smell. So this helped a lot with this, but I ended up using a different hide anyway. I wanted to show these steps. This is a good time after you wash it to throw the fur back on the fleshing beam. And you heard me mention in the last video, I was talking about the membrane and how you want to get a lot of that. Well, you want to get as much off as possible. You really don't want membrane on there. And usually you're able to scrape a lot of it off, but this is a good time to just throw it back on the fleshing beam now that it's been soaked, and just get any residual membrane off. And I'm going to show you here what it looks like if you don't know. But I'm just scraping it up real quick, just doing it the once over on the hide, getting it all off, trying to make everything as nice as possible for the brains to, really get soaked into the fur or into the skin. But this accomplishes a couple things. I'm scraping off the membrane, but I'm also squeegeeing out the hide, getting a lot of the excess moisture out. Because when you go to tan your hide, you don't want a whole lot of sopping wet moisture in it. You kind of want it to act like a sponge and soak some of that emulsify oil solution in, so kind of stabilizing the moisture content in that hide. But see, here's just the distinction. This is on the left there. There's some of the dirty looking membrane. It's not a lot, but it's just enough. You just want to break it up and scrape. And then here on the right, you can see where I scraped it clean. So hide came out really clean, not too bad. And that just gives you a good look at what the membrane looks like on the fur or on the skin. So I'm feeling really bad for this deer. I just keep picking through it. It's like every day I have to go run to that dead, rotten deer. And this is another case of that. I'm getting ready to pull out the brains. It's how brain tanning gets its name, but you can use other things to tan a hide in this sense of brain tanning. You can use soap and oils. You can use eggs, mayo. Historically, brains were very commonly used. Spinal fluid junk was used, and different things. Although I like to stick with the brains. It's simple. It works really well, and it seems to work excellent. So that's what I'm doing. I just had a sharp piece of obsidian there. It cut that cap fur off really quick, and then I find the most effective way is just the old school way with a rock and breaking through the skull. I mean, you can use a sawzall and stuff. But this is just as quick. You don't have to dig out any tools, and it works good. This brain in here was kind of like a frozen slushie. I sniffed it. It smelled fine. There was no problems, but it's amazing how much you can get off a deer once you start trying different projects. I just keep running back to that deer, and there's still tons on here that I could use. But I was really happy to get the brains out of it. So I'll use these brains on the hide. Like I said, I'm gonna be using a different hide. This hide was just to the point where a lot of the hair was coming out. It wasn't like really all slipping out, but it was where the grain had been damaged from the road rash and stuff, and there was big blotchy spots. So I just couldn't bring myself to using that hide. So I stripped it all, like I said, and I'll make some nice buckskin out of it. And then this will give me a chance to grab one of my nicer hides, and you know, have something nice to show for it with a lot of fur all intact. So yeah, they smell good. I didn't want to make this a long, drawn-out series. I wanted to add more in this video. I actually wanted to go right through to the braining of the skin. But like I said, you kind of want that skin to be somewhat dry. You don't have to dry it all the way out, but you kind of want to create an incentive for the emulsified oil solution to kind of be drawn into the skin. And if it's sopping wet, it kind of, I just don't think it works as good. And like I said, multiple brainings always helps. I'll probably brain this hide a couple times, but really you kind of want to create it like a sponge effect. So like I said, wash your fur up, throw it on the beamer, get any of that residual membrane off, and squeegee it out, and then that'll shorten the drying time on it. And then once it's somewhat dry, you can go right to braining, and that's what you'll see in the next video. I'll try to condense it all. I'll try to put the braining and the softening all in there, but you've seen the softening before. There's a couple different ways to do it. I'll probably just stick with the hands-on, working the hide with my hands without a frame, but we'll go from here. We'll see what happens. Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah.